Hi, today I'd like to show you that time travel in a way can happen. So I've got here a newspaper, the Morning Chronicle, London, Wednesday, December the 17th, 1823. So it is about 200 years old within a couple of weeks. And from this, we can actually look at the lives of people living in that period. So we could actually be a fly on the wall and do our time traveling. We could actually see what their lives were like and what happened to them. So let's have a look at them. I was going to look at the back where we've got the police reports, and it shows you what was happening in the court at this time. And so it'll give you an idea of what was happening in this time. So if we climb in a bit, make it a bit bigger maybe. So London Square, climbing boys. Yesterday afternoon, a little sweep, not more than 8 years old, named John Langdon, was brought to this office on a man's back. He was unable to walk on account of his legs and feet being sore and diseased with ill treatment. He was placed on a bench before the magistrate, crying incessantly, and his naked feet were streaming with blood. Mrs. Morris, a lady resident in North Street, Sloane Street, stated that between 10 and 11 o'clock the preceding night, she heard there was a poor little sweet boy sitting crying on the step of a door in the street. He was so ill that he could not stand. She therefore sent for her servants with instructions to bring him to her house. She was here, gave him some food, and made him strip himself, when she discovered that his whole body was covered with ulcers. She ascertained that he had a father and a mother. The former had been in the 66th Regiment of Foot and was now a Chelsea pensioner, so he must have been quite old then. About 3 months ago, they took him to a chimney sweep living in Knightsbridge of the name of Mitchell, where they left him after kissing him and bidding him goodbye, and he had never seen them since. Mitchell, he said, was in the habit of behaving to him in the most cruel manner and forced him to ascend chimneys which were so narrow that he could not get them up in them. And if he refused, he was beaten till he did so, and had run away in consequence of his ill treatment. Mrs. Morris said that she had brought the child before the magistrate for protection. A person present said he knew Mitchell, and a few days ago employed him to sweep a chimney, and because the little object could not get up on to the account of his knees being sore, he let him down his breeches and beat him unmercifully with the brush. The worthy magistrate, whose feelings were deeply affected, desired the clerk to dispatch a letter to Mr. Cornwall, the vestry clerk of the Chelsea parish, requesting that the poor child might be taken to the proper care of in the workhouse, and to receive every surgical aid possible, and that steps might be taken to prosecute the master. So here we have an actual story of an actual boy in the 1823, only 8, and being forced to work and go up a chimney and beaten. So you can see that this was actually a person's life. So we can actually time travel and know what was happening to these people. So let's look at another piece of information or a story of somebody's life at this period. So this one's about a robbery and an escape. So, Hatton Garden, desperate escape from an officer. Yesterday, in consequence of information being sent to this office of an extensive robbery being committed in the house of Mr. Daniel, cabinet maker, Great James's Street, Bedford Road, Wainwright, an active officer of the establishment, has been in search of a lad about 16 years of age named James Holdaway, suspected of being connected with the robbery, on receiving intelligence that he was to be found about St. Clement's Lane, Wainwright hastened there and saw him in the passage of number 6 chambers. The lad, recognising him, ran upstairs, pursued by the officer, entered the upper chamber, bolted the door, and got out the parapet, which he ran along for several yards. Then let himself down a pipe to the roofs of some houses. He climbed across a number of these with great activity, and at last dropped from the parapet of a house 2 stories high into Old Boswell Court. On his descent he remained for a minute powerless, and then ran on with his body, however, quite doubled. Though many persons witnessed the scene, they were all so confounded in amazement at this act of desperation that nobody thought of stopping him. The boy accordingly escaped. So again, we've got a tale of a boy running away on, very much like a Dickens tale of this young scallywag running away on top of the roofs and eventually escaping. So again, you know that at this period, this was happening to this boy, this named boy. You can actually know his parts of his life, where he was, what he was doing, and what was happening to him. So again, we have got this ability to time travel and actually include ourselves in his life. Right, let's go on to another one. This one is Thomas Holloway. So again, we've got the name, so we can actually know this person. The man who shot his wife was yesterday brought up for re-examination. On being placed within the bar, Mr. Sergeant Sellon, the sitting magistrate, humanely informed him that his wife was yet alive, but the surgeon had only slight hopes of her recovery. The prisoner, who seemed much affected, respectfully thanked the magistrate for this communication. Ellen Milburn, the daughter of the aunt, was brought up as a witness and stated that while the prisoner was drinking tea with them on Monday, his wife came up, apparently in a passion, and exclaimed, "You might as well have lit the fire and got me some tea." She then went out, followed by the prisoner. Shortly after, the report of a pistol was heard, and the prisoner rushed in with great agitation, crying, "For God's sake, come in, aunt. I fear I have done mischief." Witness's mother accordingly went and was followed by the prisoner. In about a quarter of an hour he returned soon after with Mr. MacDonald, the surgeon, who had been called in, sent to know whether he would wish his wife to be sent to the hospital. He replied they were to do the best they could for her. He kept pacing up and down the room and apparently quite distracted, at intervals exclaiming, "Oh, my dear wife, my child, why did you accuse me so wrongfully? I would have rather lost 20 lives than have hurt you. Oh, take care of my child." Mr. Sergeant Sellon, was his wife good-tempered? Witness: I did not think her so, but a very aggravating woman. Witness: never heard from the prisoner, nor did he know whether the pistol went off accidentally or not. At the close of the examination, a person present handed in a written paper, which was understood to be a statement of some circumstances he knew of the matter, and the prisoner was remanded till tomorrow, when this man's evidence will be received. During the examination, the prisoner covered his face with his hands and seemed in deep affliction. So again, we can actually know what was happening at this period. We know that this man shot his wife, and the consequences. Well, we don't know the full consequences because we'd have to read the next paper or something like that to find out what the judge did. But it seemed that this was a very passionate woman, as they say, and the husband just acted out of passion. So maybe he was not found guilty, because otherwise, if he was found guilty in those days, he would have been hung. So he might have been let off, but we don't know. But we can join in the life of this person. We can actually see what was happening, and we know at this period, 200 years ago, 3 stories unfold. I hope you found this of interest, and I'll bring you some more information about lives of people in the this will be George the Fourth period. So it was a Georgian period 200 years ago, and you can actually see what their lives were like. I hope this was of interest. Please give it a like and subscribe, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.